You know that feeling? You accept a meeting invite, but then later you realize you completely missed a key detail about what you were supposed to bring or prepare? Well, today we're diving into the art of active listening at work, a skill that can make sure that never happens again.
Just think about the last meeting request you got. You probably heard the time and date, sure, but did you really hear the subtle hints about how urgent it was or what you needed to do beforehand? We're about to see why missing those little details can be the difference between a super productive meeting and, well, a total waste of time for everyone.
So, why are we making such a big deal about this? Before we get into the how-to, let's start with the real-world consequences of not listening the way you should be. It's really just a simple chain reaction. One little moment where you're not fully tuned in, that leads to confusion. That confusion then pretty quickly leads to mistakes, and, those mistakes can throw entire projects off track, and over time, they can even ding your professional reputation.
Okay, so what does it actually mean to be a good listener, especially in a crazy fast work environment? I can tell you it's so much more than just keeping your mouth shut while someone else is talking.
At its core, it's pretty simple. Good listening is all about how well you can actually process and understand the information people are giving you. It's not just about letting sound waves hit your ears. It's about accurately getting the message.
And here is the absolute key. It is not about just getting the general idea. It's about the exact words. Think about it. The difference between "I'll be there at 2" and "I should be there around 2" is huge. One is a promise, the other is a maybe. In the professional world, that kind of precision is everything.
All right, so we get the what and the why. Now for the fun part, the how. Let's build your own personal listening toolkit with 3 really practical skills you can start using, like today. We're going to break this down into 3 simple but super powerful techniques. Once you get these down, you are going to see an immediate improvement in how much you understand and how smooth your professional interactions are.
First up, shortened forms. In everyday professional speech, people talk fast, and they naturally use contractions. Listening for these isn't just about understanding slang, it's about catching these crucial signals of commitment. Just look at the difference here. This small change makes a huge impact. When you hear "I'll" instead of the more formal "I will," it's not just a style choice. It's a clear, confident confirmation. It's a subtle but really powerful clue that tells you, hey, this is a firm plan. Next up in our toolkit, agreement markers. You can think of these as basically verbal green lights. They're these specific, common phrases people use to signal that, yep, I accept, or yes, I am totally on board with that idea. This is how you completely get rid of any guesswork. When a coworker says, sounds good, or exactly, that's your signal. Boom. You don't have to sit there and wonder if they agree. You know you're on the same page, and you can move forward with confidence. And finally, let's talk about rhythm. A good conversation isn't a speech. It's more like a dance. And a huge part of that dance is knowing when it's your turn to step in. And that's where turn-taking cues come into play. This is the perfect example. That little natural pause after a question, that's not dead air. That is the speaker literally handing the conversation over to you. When you recognize that pause, you know a response isn't just welcome, it's expected, right now.
So let's connect all the dots here. You hear the definite "I'll," you catch the positive "sounds good," and you recognize that pause. That means it's your turn to respond. When you combine these 3 things, you eliminate all the doubt about commitments. It's a simple little system for getting total clarity. Okay, so now you have the tools, but the most important part is actually putting them into practice. Knowing this stuff is great, but becoming skilled at it comes from actually doing it. So here's your mission, should you choose to accept it. In your conversations this week, I want you to consciously listen for those contractions like "I'll." Actively try to spot those agreement markers. And, just keep building your professional vocabulary. The more words you know, the more precise your understanding is going to be. And honestly, that's the big takeaway. Precision in your listening leads directly to precision in your actions. When you understand the exact instructions, you can follow them perfectly. And that is the absolute foundation of being a reliable and effective person to work with. So here's my challenge to you. In your very next meeting, which one of these skills are you going to consciously practice? Just pick one, focus on it, and I bet you'll discover the amazing difference that precise listening can make. Thanks for tuning in.